Welcome back to Livie'S Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel, and I'm your host, Fam the Fabulous. For more ideas, inspiration, swaps, and challenges, click the link in the description below to join our craft community, the Maker Exchange, on Facebook. Welcome back, all my artists, creatives, crafters, and makers. Welcome back to the Lovely Lab. Alright, so in the last video, I told you that I was going to count one and we were going to make some journal cards, alright? Because I'm so frugal that I refuse to put any of my printed kit back. So I am working on the very last pages of what I printed off. And so the last video was envelopes, and the one before that was paper clips. One before that was photo slides. All of those, I'm just using up the scraps from this kit. Creating ephemera and journal cards and things of that nature, just so I can have accessories for it, as well as building my stash. So this is the journal card that I showed you, and I just collaged one side, and on the opposite side I added some coffee dyed paper. Okay, just popped a little tag on the top, stitched around it, and added this cute little quote that came out of the kit by Maya Angelou. So I love the way that turned out, and we are going to continue on with what we have left. So I'm going to slide that out the way because, you know, that little tray I found at a thrift store, couldn't pass it up. It's adorable. And so anyways, so these are the sheets. I think I have one more half sheet left. So I'm gonna, these are the ones I intend on using today, along with my scraps. These are scraps that I've used in the kit. And then these are larger pieces of scraps in here, but this is also scraps from other kits too. So we got this covered. Now what I did was I using some of the mailers that I've received, you know, the politician mailers that came, you know, stuff that comes in the mail, vote, 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 be the change, vote. I just pulled those, and then I added some, what do we call it, gesso to the outsides of them. And for some reason, it kind of makes it flexible. Anybody know what that's all about? Drop down in the comments if you know why this becomes a little bit more rubbery. Is that the right word? Yeah. All right, so I use this to glue on. So I'm going to go ahead and collage both of these, one side of both of these, and then on the opposite, I'll cut it down, and then on the opposite side we will use coffee dyed or lined paper or something like that. So I'm going to use up some of this music paper, maybe some of these. Let's just see what we got in here for the larger sizes. I'm going to use that. We've got that. Let me just pull this whole envelope. Okay, I think that's about it. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so we've got plenty to work with. I wonder, it's okay. We'll start this way. And that's perfect. Now, I generally will start off with a loose idea of what the layout will be like. But if it begins to feel too complicated, I'll scrap that and go a different route. So that I don't overcomplicate things, you know. It's supposed to be collaging, for Pete's sake, not a puzzle. So bear with me. Alright, so I just got finished watching a channel and subscribe to it. I always like to share up and coming YouTube channels, or channels that are, you know, just making its comeback or whatever, to support channels that are, you know, small and growing or thriving, you know, ones that you want to see more of. And the name of the channel is Scrappy Lil Risa. So it's Scrappy Lilresa. And you know, she's a scrapbooker, but paper crafts is where I go, and mixed media, obviously. But I don't just watch journaling videos. For that matter, I'll also watch what do you call it? Some DIYs and tiny home tiny home videos. That I aspire to one day have my own tiny home, or maybe even a tiny home senior citizen village, you know, so that when I retire, I'll have a place to stay. But I was thinking about that with my dad when we relocated my dad here from Tennessee last year, how I would love for him to be in a small community where people are living close by and they commit to, you know, the tiny home lifestyle, as in leaving a small imprint and living as self-sustained as possible, you know, utilizing all of the water and solar power, this, that, and the third, and just helping to add to their quality of life, and, you know, providing them with quality housing, but also adding to their purpose of life, you know what I mean, by way of community. So that was one of my thoughts. I'm going to add that to the side. Now, I used this jot earlier just to see how it would work. I'm not really a fan of this, and hopefully it'll do better than it did earlier, because I'll switch over in a minute if I don't get the results that I want. I don't like the it doesn't feel sticky enough, which for some that might be a good thing, but for me, I want it to feel sticky. I'm gonna have to change because I can already see paint the inks from here. Yep, the inks from here are transferring over, which ain't a bad thing, but it ain't a good thing when you don't, that's not what you're aiming for. So let me switch. But moving right along, so I think I started off talking about Scrappy Lil Risa. And so if you guys want to head over after you get finished watching this video and show her some love, let her know that Fam from Livie's Lovelies sent you. I'm sure she'd appreciate it, because I know how it is when you're up, your channel is new or it's young, you don't have a lot of videos on there, and you're just hoping somebody finds you. So making sure that everything stays down, especially with this glue I am not a fan of. I really am not. Not a fan at all. It just doesn't feel sticky. And maybe it doesn't need to. Maybe it'll hold. It did hold the paper, the scrap paper that I tried it on earlier. But it seemed like I had to it seemed like I needed to oversaturate it, you know. And I'm not used to that. It seems like it's a little off, or does it? Oh, I don't leave that. See, it just doesn't feel sticky enough. It just does not feel sticky enough. I don't like that. I may have to switch up. I may have to, you know, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And then at the end, if I'm still not satisfied, then I will go ahead and add some Mod Podge to it. That's what I'll do. I mean, if push comes to shove, that's what I'll have to do. And hopefully I won't have to put too much on this, because this paper is so delicate. This hymn book paper, whatever hymnal paper page. Talk about not finding the right words. Boy. Okay, so put this down over here like that so it doesn't catch. Yeah, okay. Look at that. Oh, gracious. Boy. It's going to come right off. That's fine. So anyways, when you it's too much to explain, but in short, on this series, and I forgot the guy, the actor's name. He plays in a lot of stuff. He's a really good actor. But anyways, the basis for the storyline is about, and it's ironic because the show was created about 5 years ago, but at some point the world duplicated itself, and it, in the course of doing so, um, it duplicated all of the people as well. So what you ended up with was two me's, two you's, two everybody's, right? So what would happen if the other you had your memories, just didn't have your experience, wasn't where you were at? But they have, I don't know how long ago, in the story, the world split in two or duplicated itself, but nevertheless, that's what happened. So one world developed this virus, and it was a man-made virus, and someone from this side went to the other side that was on the same level. Everybody had the same thing, and the virus got loose over there and killed off, I think, 3/4 of their population. Anyways, all of the effects, the rippling effects of a declined population is what ended up happening. The effects being technology slows down, scarcity of this, that, and the third. So imagine how we live today. Now rewind that back, 20 years, and things aren't as plentiful. So how things was in the 90s and the 80s, we're just like super fabulous in 2020 here in our country and in our world. But it would be a lot different if our scientists had died, if our inventors and technological geniuses weren't around. It would slow down our advancements. And so that's how that world was. And so I think throughout the show, they're just trying to get down to the bottom of who was responsible for it. And then there's more plots, the others at some point, the people from the side of the world that whose technology had slowed down, they began to devise a plan to use their children as little soldiers. So some of these kids who maybe their parents died off from the virus, they went into foster homes, and the plan was to teach these children all about the person who they were a duplicate of, so that they could come over and at some point assume their identity, or whatever. And then at that point, once they assume their identity in the other world, they could be used for like counterintelligence and whatever else, spy stuff. So you've got the series starts off, you don't know that that's what's going to happen, and I'm not going to tell too much more of the story, but you've got basically people spying on themselves. That's kind of what it feels like, because that's who they're learning about. They're learning about their other self. So it's called Counterpart, in case you're interested. It's a very interesting show. I'll give you that. Okay. I think I'm going to make the second one a little thinner. Maybe make it 4.5. All right. Thank God for fall break, because otherwise I would not feel comfortable staying up this late to do nothing. I mean, I'm not doing nothing. I'm sitting with y'all, right? Okay, so we have these two. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to use some of the scraps that we have. And okay, now I can get rid of some of this. It's just so hard to get rid of something so cute like this. I can't be the only one. Just that little piece of calendar. Okay, maybe it is just me. But don't judge. Don't judge me until you've been here. Okay? You'll be here one day. All right, so let's find the opposite sides that we want to use. We're going to use this side for one. And we'll use this side for the other one. All right? And then it just is not a good Anyhow, I'm not going to sit here complaining about it. It'll do what it needs to do until I use something else. I have a whole drawer full of them. But I did want to give those a try. But we see how they work. I'm not a fan. And I'm not going to continue to complain about it because there are worse things in the world to have than horrible glue. Like zeros in your bank account. Which I've had that quite often as well. Very often. Not too long ago. Okay. Alright, so we're just going to cut that down as you... Ugh, God almighty. We're just going to cut off the excess. And pray that the whole thing doesn't fall apart. Because this glue... Okay, I'm not going to say it. You already know it. Y'all probably could sing along with me at this point. Bless God. We'll make it work. Because that's what crafters do. We use what we have and make it work to the best of my ability. I shall not complain. Okay? So this is what we got. Now when I come back, I will have Mod Podged over the top of these. Over this. Anyways, the top part. And then we'll go ahead and stitch. We'll ink, stitch. And you know what? No, I better ink now. Because, why? I may not be able to do so over the Mod Podge. Might not be able to make it happen, girls and boys. Yeah. Just what we're going to have to do. This really is not that complicated of a thing. But I'm too busy running my mouth. Any new channels you guys coming along? And how is your holiday crafting going? Did I just switch topics in the middle in the same sentence? Oh my word. I am the worst. I am. Good Lord. What has that been? 4 minutes on distressing? I gotta get my hustle on. Alright, folks. It's been good. Stay tuned when I come back. The Mod Podge will be dried and we'll be able to stitch and add the tabs. Look at that. See, that's what I'm talking about with that glue. Ugh, drives me nuts. Never again. I'm going to have to glue under and over and everything in between. I ain't talking about it no more. Thoroughly annoyed. I don't think these cards are going to go in the giveaway. I think I'm just going to have to use them myself. Put them in one of my journals and create another set. We'll see. Alright, so stay tuned. I'll be back. Might be in the morning, but we shall continue where we left off. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe to join the crafty community and be sure to click the bell for notifications of new uploads. Thank you so much for watching. Now stay tuned for more from Livie'S Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel. Bye for now.